Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the Hockey Mountain High podcast. I'm Griffin Youngs, joined by Christian Bole. As always, Christian off the boat now this time, and we are able to now record video. Once again, we can give you the displeasure of seeing our faces.
Yeah, it's just one of those things too. Like I was in Mexico for a week. I don't think I got tan at all. If anything, I just got redder. Because I don't tan. It was rough. I'm sunburnt to hell. Very happy to be home. Very happy to not be watching the Avs games on my iPhone and actually being able to watch it in my man cave. Wish it was a better result for the game tonight, but overall, man, phenomenal experience. Excited to be home and ready to make this playoff push once we get through the Olympics.
Yeah, because we are one game away from the Olympic break. And boy, do we need to get there fast, because it looked like in Detroit, the Avalanche were snapping out of it a little bit. They shut out the Red Wings 5-0 on the road in Detroit. Then they host the Red Wings 2 days later in Colorado and seem to forget that you got to shoot the puck to score on a goalie. They get shut out 2-0 with the game-winning goal coming about 33 seconds into the game. There are no goals until probably about 33 seconds left in the game.
I think it was 30 seconds left in the game when Raymond scored.
Empty netter to end the game. The Avs power play, just passing the puck at any given opportunity, refusing to shoot. Another one of those games where you're frustrated, but it's hard to even be that frustrated, which makes it more frustrating in my eyes, because the Olympics are coming. You know what the problem is. They're looking forward to the break. It's not like this is a giant fundamental. They're screwed. They're not going to be good again. They're going to come out of the break and be fine, I think. But it's just you're still here watching the games, and you're still here being like, you just did it 2 days ago against the same team. You dominated them in their building. And then in this game, you took the foot off the gas and we're right back to where we were. It wasn't as bad as Ottawa and Montreal, but I'd still kind of put it in the same category as like general disinterest.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those ones, like, we're at that point in the season. It is completely different than last year's game or last year's team, where they had to make up so much ground. It's back to what it's been the previous 4 or 5 years, where they're pretty comfortably in first place. They have a pretty decent gap between them and the Wild. It looks a lot more treacherous now because the Wild have played 3 more games. But this team is just kind of not checked out. Checked out's the right word. They're checked out.
They're 100% checked out.
Yeah, they're ready to go on vacation. They're ready to go to Milan. They're ready to play in the Olympics. And it is maddening to watch, and I'd be a lot more upset if they didn't have 81 points.
Right. It's like the break has gotten you enough through this. They're 3-5-2 in their last 10. The lead to Minnesota is down to 5, which looks, to your point, concerning on paper. They do still have those 3 games in hand, but it feels like now you don't have that much of the giant cushion that you did.
Correct.
Like going into the break that maybe you were expecting, because Minnesota just kind of tapered off for a little bit. Dallas has been tapering off for a little bit. Now they've both heated up a little, and you see just how quickly that gap closes when the Avs are in this stretch that they're in, where I think for a while there after Landeskog got hurt, it was adjusting to playing without him, and now they're just in the last few days of class before winter break, and you want to go home.
Yeah, you want to go home. And all indications are Landeskog's going to play in the Olympics. He's going to be back after the Olympics, barring anything crazy happening. So your captain's coming back. You get Devon Toews back for this game against the Red Wings at home. And he makes really the only mistake in the game, where he has a very aggressive pinch. It results in a 2-on-1. And after that, the Red Wings just played very similar to how the Ducks played a couple weeks ago, where it's just like, we're not giving you anything.
Yep.
Anything.
Yep, and you lose Marty Necas before the first Detroit game that comes out just like right before puck drop, basically. Doesn't sound like it's anything serious, maybe a little more precautionary of maybe just kind of doing him a solid so that he doesn't really get hurt before the Olympics, or at least having him go to Milan healthy, which is fine. It's a big deal to represent your country. It's what I said last time. At least it's more honest that way, that if you're you don't want to risk getting hurt. Sure. All right, cool. That's one thing. So I'm not concerned about him being out long term. He'll be back for the Olympics and back after the break. But then the game in Detroit looked pretty good.
It was awesome.
You came out with a lot of pressure. You scored on your first couple of shots. Nathan MacKinnon just decided he was going to win this game. He went out there and decided that I am the best player on the ice here, and I'm just going to go win it myself. He has 3 points. He has 2 goals. They win 5-0. Granted, again, they only had 21 shots again in this game, but they took advantage of their scoring chances early and were able to step off the gas a bit.
Yeah, they were able to step off. I mean, that game was over at the start of the third period.
He didn't have to worry. I will say it felt pretty over when Ross Colton made it 3-0.
Yeah,
and that was in the second.
Yeah, it was over. It was over at that point. It's just that's the Avs we've seen for a majority of this year, and I don't know what it was about the game tonight. You thought maybe they had kind of righted the ship after that rough Canadian road trip, but then tonight it was just the energy's not there. And it is the best line for the Avs in the game tonight against the Red Wings was the third line. Jack Drury, Parker Kelly, and Yoel Kiviranta were awesome. But here's the thing. If your top 6 isn't going to show up in a game, it's really hard to win with your third line being your best line.
Right. At the end of the second period in this game, the Avalanche had 12 shots, and I believe the Drury line had 6 of them at that point, which is great for them and their standards, but that should never be the case. If your third line's getting you 6 shots, you should be looking probably at about 25 at that point.
Correct. I mean, that's the thing too that's just so maddening is guys like Parker Kelly, Jack Drury, and Yoel Kiviranta have been solid throughout this entire little bumpy road. They've been really good. It's just your top 6 is just inconsistent right now.
Yeah. I mean, what else can you say about Parker Kelly?
He's awesome.
The guy has just been an absolute monster over the last several weeks. And it's a shame that they're not getting the results to back that up. He's been arguably one of their best players, if not their best player, over certain stretches over this last little bit where I have not looked at a single game he's had that's even been mediocre. He's been straight up good in all of them and scoring in a lot of them too.
Scoring in a lot of them, he's making that contract look like a bargain already.
Yeah.
And it hasn't even kicked in yet.
Where in a time where you really miss Logan O'Connor, you're feeling like Parker Kelly's stepping in and making a case for being one of the best fourth liners in the NHL.
Yeah. He's been awesome. He's already set his career high in goals. What's he up to? 12 now?
He's up to 12 now.
Yeah. He could have had 2 goals in this game tonight too. He got robbed a couple times and a couple bad bounces. He's been awesome. Jack Drury's been awesome. Yoel Kiviranta, since he's come back, I think they said it at the end of the broadcast. He has 3 goals or 3 points in his past 5 games.
He's been good too.
From Kiwi, that's phenomenal. That's awesome. Phenomenal. So you need your top guys to show up, and they showed up in that first Detroit game, like you mentioned. Nathan MacKinnon, first to 40 goals, just an outstanding game. It is funny to think he's already at 40 goals. That's just hilarious to think about. He's so good this year, and it just makes games like this where he's just a little bit off, and you're like, not maddening, but you're just like, I know there's another gear. I know there is.
And it's not a secret what it is. It's not like, oh, what's wrong with Nathan MacKinnon? The Olympics. He's looking forward to the Olympics. He had his game against Detroit, and he's like, all right, I don't need to do any more. We got one more game against the Sharks come up, and then I'm going to Milan. And then after that, we'll talk about the home stretch.
Yeah. And that's, again, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about the Avs. If you were looking to come on the show and panic, it's just not.
I feel like I got it all out after Montreal, after the no-shows of Ottawa and Montreal, which are unacceptable performances under any standard. Like this one, I feel like, well, at least in the third period, it was okay. I don't know. I mean, a certain extent, John Gibson made some big saves in this game. Shockingly, his first shutout against the Avs, which I guess makes sense.
I feel like he just always plays well against.
Yeah, I guess somehow we've always beaten him at least once, even when he's playing his best. But he made a couple of great saves. Detroit played well defensively and blocked a lot of shots. The Avs still made a bunch of maddening decisions. But I mean, at least I feel like wasn't a total waste of time.
No, they didn't no-show in this game. They were creating chances. They just one, they can't hit the broadside of a barn. I don't know what it was. They could not hit the net tonight. MacKinnon had that one chance late in the third where it goes off Comper's shin pad and deflects wide. Parker Kelly, like we said, had a couple grade A chances that either hit a Red Wing or Gibson made a great save on them. And passes were off by like just a mic, like very little far behind players. And it was just one of those games. Like if this game had happened like a month and a half ago, we'd just be like, oh, it's a blip in the radar. Like, I'm not worried. Like, the chances were there, it just didn't click. But when you go on the heels of 4 of your past 5 games haven't been great, it's
you're 3-5-2 in your last 10, and you, like, again, you're not really sweating the lead in the Central right now, but it's gotten to a point that you have to consider it a little bit, which is your punishment for winning 3 of your last 10. And they haven't won 2 in a row since the start of the homestand. And like, it feels like this homestand did a lot of damage to this team. Like, it feels like they got really complacent. And this game, they didn't work super hard to create chances for themselves. And Detroit is a team, like, they embarrassed them on their home ice 2 days ago. And they were going to come into this game with a chip on their shoulder. And I thought the Avs did at least a decent enough job of not letting themselves get crushed in this game. But Detroit checked super hard. They were super into this game, and they scored on the opening shift, and they did what they needed to do to win. It's not like they were worried about taking penalties. It's not like the Avs power play was really going to be that much of a problem.
I will say this: the first 30 seconds of the game, I was like, "Oh, they're going to blow them out again." I was like, "All right, yeah, we're in for another." And then Taves just makes that risky pinch, which usually, like, if Devon Taves is healthy and he's back in the flow of things, he doesn't make that mistake. He just doesn't. It was his first game back in almost a month, and results in 2-on-1, and it just ends up in the back of your net.
Yeah. Are we desensitized at this point with the way the Avs have played over the last half month, basically, where we've gone from the dominant 3-month run that they were on to begin the season, and now we've gone through this stretch, and it's probably like game 10 or so of just looking okay at best, and now we're just kind of adjusted to it, so we're not freaking out about it now?
Well, in a weird way, I'm kind of glad it's happening now in the beginning of February, because then they can wake back up by the time the playoffs start.
Yeah.
Like, it's just one of those things too, where I look at the Avs, and what have we said the past 4 years or 5 years? If they're in the playoffs, I feel good. Like, really, just get in the playoffs. I would love home ice. That is the big thing. I would love home ice throughout the Western Conference. I could give 2 fucks about
I will say it would feel pretty shitty to blow this lead.
Yes.
Like, especially the Central League. Like, the President's Trophy, no one cares about that. At the end of the day, you're not going to get caught by the Pacific.
No.
That's not an issue. It would suck a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I think at this point to lose the Central, so I would put a lot of emphasis still on.
No, and that's what I mean. Like, home ice is really the most important thing. Like, you need home ice because, first of all, like, it's just so important you avoid Minnesota or Dallas in the first round. Like, you need that. You need that for just simply let those 2 teams kill each other in the first round, and then you face the Sharks or the Mammoth, which is the playoffs is the playoffs. Like, you're going to have to play well, but it's not going to be nearly as physical as it would be against Dallas or Minnesota.
Right. I mean, I think at this point, it's like, well, beating the Bruins record is kind of out of the question at this point.
I don't really care.
Unless they totally tear through the end of the season. No one really cares about that. At the end of the day, historically, that doesn't really work. So not that much of a problem. But yeah, it is still just frustrating to sit through these games. And I think I would be less frustrated by this game if they did lose in Detroit. I'd be frustrated by the losing streak, but I'd be less baffled by it. Where you play not perfectly in Detroit, but you get a 5-0 shutout, so clearly you did something right. And then you come into this game and get shut out 2-0 yourself, and your offense is just completely anemic, and you can't generate really anything. It's just really confusing as to where the mindset shifted in 2 days to where it looked like they wanted to create a little momentum before the Olympics and not just go on a massive losing streak. And then they looked back to being just pretty disinterested in this game. Like, there looked like there were portions that they were trying. They got robbed a couple of times. Sure, they get a couple of bounces and maybe they still win this game. But it just felt still lackadaisical and sloppy. And just you're not connecting clean on passes. Your puck management isn't very good. It's just the late game, lack of urgency with the net empty. And you see teams push when the goalie's out of the net and everything. It just turning the puck over way too easily is just they're not super into this one. It was just confusing to see the contrast between the two and why coming home against the same team would be different. I would understand losing this game, but it's just, again, you still got one more left after this. So if you're mailing it in, you're still mailing it in for one more performance. And it's just weird. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Again, I'm not putting up like there's no panic button being pulled out. There's nothing that I'm like
you're
worried
still
about.
First by a country mile. Like you're not pulling the panic button on anything except the power play.
Yeah, the power play is it's fallen all the way to 31st in the league. Fallen all the way to 31st. And the thing that's frustrating, again, like that's what makes that Detroit game a couple days ago so maddening. The power play looked really good in that game. Like they were creating chances.
2 wide open opportunities on the power play. And if you want to count today, they missed a third one, but not because they missed it or got robbed, because they're a pass first team on the power play. And Val's looking for the cross crease pass instead of just shooting it into the wide open net.
Yeah. Like it's just so confusing. It's just flat out bad. And I know we talked a couple episodes ago, but you don't fire
about this power play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate firing Hacksaw. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do something.
Yeah.
You have to do something. It's like the only thing is like, well, Hacksaw does other things other than the power play. So then you're replacing a guy mid-season. What does that do for everything? But when your main thing is the power play and it's this bad, you have to entertain the conversation at the very least. But my holdup is, well, you did this already.
You did it already.
If Hacksaw had been the coach for 3-4 years at this point, yeah, totally on board. He's got to go. It's his first year. You just fired the power play coach last time for the same ineffective problems. It might not be on the coach. Yeah. I'm not saying he's blameless, but at some point the guys on the ice have got to execute and get out of their own heads and shoot the puck and just be aggressive a little bit. Maybe that's the style Hacksaw has in play, is this passive pass first perimeter.
It's not even pass first though. Like, do you like that power play in the third period? There was like, I forget who had the puck above the circles. It might have been Brock Nelson or Val. No one was moving. They were just standing still. And the Red Wings were just like, all right, you're just going to stand here. We're not going to move either. Like this is
the easiest power play to kill in the league.
I just don't get it. Like I was watching that, and usually I'm not the type of person who's like, shoot the puck, but they were just standing there. No one was moving. They weren't trying to create anything. It was just, all right, it goes over to the point. Cale either tips it to McKinnon. McKinnon either spins down the boards, dumps it down behind the net, and they just wheel around, and we do the exact same fucking thing.
Yeah, and then you get the double drop pass, and then it gets cleared. Then you get the slingshot, and you're spinning your wheels. I'm narrating to myself during the game. Pass, pass, pass. Back to the point. Circle it around. Pass, pass. Oh, he could shit. He's just going to pass. Turnover, clear, slingshot, pass, pass, shot wide, rebound, pass. Like it's the same thing over and over again. They keep looking for just that one more pass, man. It's just one more perfect pass, and this one's going to go in there. Shoot. At this point, it cannot be a worse power play to, if you have an inch of ice, just shoot.
Yeah.
Just if you have anything resembling a lane to the net, just shoot it. I guarantee it's going to score more than 15% of the time.
It's going to score. It's maddening to watch. It is so maddening to watch. And that first period, when they get that power play, it could not have come at a worse time. It could not have come at a worse time.
Killed them. Stone dead. They were actually kind of buzzing at that point before they got the power play. And they generated nothing out of it. And you still, little victories walk away coming out of it saying, well, they didn't give up a shorthanded goal.
They
still let the Red Wings get set up on offense shorthanded. But at least they didn't get scored on this time, because that's the bar now.
Yep.
We're not at 10 shorthanded goals yet.
We're only at, we're still at 9. We're still at 9.
On 9.
And I just, it makes no sense. It makes no sense that you have Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon, who are going to be probably up there as favorites to win the Olympic MVP, and they just can't do anything on the power play. And it's going to piss me the fuck off when I watch the Canada power play and Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar just elite.
And it's great, right?
Yep.
That's almost like a positive I'm taking away. It's like they're going to go spend time in a real power play.
Yeah, maybe that's the good thing.
Maybe they can bring it back and be like, hey, guys, what if we just stopped doing the crazy thing that doesn't work, that we've tried for nearly 55 games at this point, and tried something that might get us to 20th in power plays or something. Like, just the bar is so low right now that I have actually walked away from this game thinking, well, at least they didn't give up a shorthanded goal, and I was serious. I wasn't kidding. I was like, at least they're not at 10.
It's crazy, man. It's so painful to watch, and you dread. Like, that's not how it should be. You dread when a power play is coming. So this is just going to be 2 minutes of hell.
Yeah, it is a waste of 2 minutes, and at this point, the waste of 2 minutes still feels better than what it could have been, which is just giving up a goal the other way and just completely killing any chance you have of winning a game. Because we talked about this a lot at the watch party that we had at number 38 over the weekend when we were talking about the Avs power play and everything. And thank you to everybody who showed up. We had a wonderful time together watching the Avalanche come and win that game. So the next one we have, I'd love to see even more of you come out. It was a great time down number 38, but topic conversation as always is with the power play. And it's the same passive thing over and over and over again. And it goes back to last year where I feel like a lot of people kind of had the same sentiment from everyone that I was talking to. It's like, yeah, the Avs are still fine, but you cannot bring this power play into the playoffs. You are not going to win 4 rounds with a power play that is completely ineffective. It's useless.
And maybe the Olympic break for Bednar and Hackstall is good, and they just drop some plays. I don't know.
Yeah, just you got to go back to the drawing board completely. Scrap literally everything
which is what they did in the first Detroit game, and it created a ton of chances. And then this game, it just did nothing.
Yeah, I'm just so sick of talking about it. Like, we've talked about it every episode, even when they were winning. We were talking about just how insanely bad this power play is, and yet somehow they're just winning anyway because they're so good at 5-on-5. And you're not masking the issues right now because the penalty kill has been less than stellar over the last little bit. And at 5-on-5, games have been a lot more even as of late. Games where you really could have used a power play goal and maybe not a shorthanded goal against the other way as well.
That would help. That'd be a benefit. That'd be good. That'd be good not to let the team score when you're on the power play. And it's just, I don't know. We've talked about it ad nauseum for the entire year. And it's like Groundhog's Day, which, shout out, it's Groundhog's Day.
Shout out to Groundhog's Day and that stupid groundhog seeing his shadow again. But also, like, first of all, let's pivot here. Talk about Puxatawny Phil. Biggest fraud ever. Your remarks.
I'm not in touch with the groundhog community.
Dude, he's predicting at a 37% accuracy rate. 37%. I wish the Avs power play looked like that. But when you're predicting 6 weeks of winter or not, 37%, you had a 50-50 shot to be right. How are you?
Maybe do that as like a season episode, because Groundhog's Day, just like, who came up with the idea that if a groundhog sees a shadow, it's 6 more weeks of winter?
It's like shootouts. If it didn't exist, it'd be crazy.
Yeah, I'm just like, what, like, where did this come from? I remember Groundhog's Day being a lot bigger when I was a kid. I don't know if you remember.
Like, you remember because, you'd get the whispers the next day in school. It's like, did you hear? Puxatawny saw his shadow. We're in for 6 more weeks of winter, baby. It was.
I saw something else that another groundhog didn't see his shadow. So it's like we got 2 groundhogs debating on winter.
Right. We can't agree on anything these days.
Can't agree on anything. And here's the thing too about it. It's just, I know last week was brutal with the weather and how cold it was. Winter has not been bad this year.
Winter in Colorado has been peachy. It is 55 degrees today. It is warmer in Fort Collins, Colorado than it is in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah. I just, again, winters haven't been that bad. Maybe it's just because I've lived here my whole life. So like winter to me, I enjoy winter. So like I'm actually been kind of bummed that it's been like 55 degrees because
I've been like, dude, I love when it got down to like -3 last week. This is my element. I love this.
Perfect. I love it too. The one thing I don't miss, like, I don't know if you miss it too, not having a dog to go outside and try to go to the bathroom when it's -3 out. That is a little bit enjoyable. I don't miss that. But yeah, I mean, Ponce, I feel he may be a fraud. I gotta get more in tune with my groundhog history and lore.
You dig into those micro stats. This dude is a fraud. He's getting cooked round one. This is why Groundhog's Day has never been able to break out of the low tier holidays. It's because they have a fraud as their mascot. They're not competing with Memorial Day, 4th of July. You don't get off for Groundhog's Day. But I bet you if Puxatani locked in a little bit and started getting his predictions right, maybe, just maybe, it'd have a little more gravitas to it, right? Get a little more emotion behind Groundhog's Day. But because we have to pretend that this fraud and his word means anything, now we just got to suffer it everywhere else. It is a fake holiday.
Well, like, here's the thing, too. Do you look at it, too, and think, like, when they're looking at the calendar, February doesn't have a ton of holidays. They're just trying to throw something in there.
They're trying to fill it out there. And you know what? The movie Groundhog's Day was a psyop to make people care about it. Because without the movie, who's talking about Groundhog Day?
Yeah, and February is just, it's the shortest month of the year. It's really self-conscious about itself, February.
It is an elementary school holiday because Puxatani is riding off of his laurels and does not care.
Well, is it a leap year? Is it a leap year, or are we only at 27 in February?
I don't think it's a leap year.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's just February as a guy. He's self-conscious about himself. So he always adds like an extra day every 4 years, make himself seem taller. But like it's just I don't know. February's got to get it figured out, and then you got the Valentine's Day coming up soon.
Terrible holiday. Terrible.
Yeah. Two single guys say that. No, not bitter at all. Not bitter at all.
Terrible holiday.
But
you're celebrating Valentine's Day, you're a loser.
Yeah, it's all the happy people in love, you losers. But yeah,
I'm so happy and I'm in love. Get out of here.
Loser. I'd rather watch the Avs power play.
Shut up! Stop posting.
I'd rather watch the Avs power play and get upset about it. That's really where I'm at.
I don't know. But great transition back into the show and talking about the Avs. Power play still bad. We talked about literally every episode now at this point. And these two games against Detroit just very frustrating. I mean, the thing is, like, they're going to come back out of the Olympic break. Nate's going to be back. Lanny's going to be back. Tays going to be back warmed up again. They're going to be pretty healthy at this point. Another thing that I think is a pretty interesting topic of conversation is they're going to need to give an update on Logan O'Connor sooner than we think, like a real one. Because with the trade deadline coming up in a little over a month at this point, you think about how many games you have left until the trade deadline. It's not much. So they're going to have to give some kind of update on LOC, because even still, no update by March 7th is an update, because that means they're planning to play him at some point. Because if he's not going to come back this season, which you kind of have to entertain the possibility at this point.
100%.
Because you have heard nothing. You've heard no progress whatsoever. And the whispers are kind of that he might not at this point. So you have to entertain that. But they would have to declare that by March 7th to get his LTIR salary cap. They'd have to declare him out for the entire playoff like Vegas did with Alex Pietrangelo. So if they don't do that, that is still an update in itself that they plan to have him back at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a crazy thing because we were in training camp. It sounded like he was going to be ready to go in November.
Yeah,
and here we are
saying like Thanksgiving at the latest.
Yeah, here we are in February, and it's not even. I think the last update we saw was like 3 weeks ago. He was on the ice.
Yeah,
like that was it.
It's turned into feeling eerily similar to Gabe. Obviously, It's not going to be the same situation, but it felt like, Gabe's going to be out for a little bit. And then he just disappeared.
Yeah.
And then you didn't really get any updates until it was over, basically.
Like the thing, too, is this is his second hip surgery in 3 years?
Right. I forget if it's the same hip or the other hip, but neither option's good.
Yeah. Like it's just the hips are so important in hockey, especially that you see more hip injuries in hockey than any other sport. And it's hard to come back from hips. I mean, we saw like a guy like Nicholas Backstrom. I don't think LOC got his hips resurfaced, right?
No, Patrick Kane. Was it Kane or Taves?
Resurfaced.
Yeah, Patrick Kane has his hips resurfaced. Took a while for him to really get. And even then, you look at Kane now. Like, he's older, but like he's not close to what he was back then. And Nick Backstrom, he got his hips resurfaced, and he just was not the same. And like hips are tough. Hips are tough.
And here's the thing, though. I'm sure you asked Nick Backstrom. He's like, I can walk again without pain.
Right.
And I'm sure he's happy with that.
Yeah, and LOC did not get his hips resurfaced. To be fair, those were quality of life decisions made by guys who won Stanley Cups and made a lot of money. So not exactly an apples to apples thing, but it's like you see guys with hip injuries and it sucks. They suck to come back from because you don't realize how much you use your hips until they hurt.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. You need an update, but also I don't think we're going to get one until March. I really don't.
That's like March 7th, one way or another, we're going to get an idea.
Yeah.
Because either they're going to declare them out and use that cap space, or they're not. And then both are an update either way. And they'll also have to probably make a move for a winger at some point, made like the Blake Colemans of the world, Michael Buntings, blah, 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 blah. They're going to have to do one of those because they've been kind of relying on LOC coming back and giving those trial runs to the Brindleys and the Bardakovs of the world. As you get deeper into the season, I feel like that's becoming less and less of a permanent option where, again, love Gavin Brindley. The effectiveness has not been there over the last month. I really don't think you can carry that into the playoffs and trust him with a full-time role. And if LOC's not coming back, I think even doubly so, you're looking at the trade deadline and you got to reinforce that.
Yep. Got to reinforce it. And I just, again, like Gavin Brindley still has a bright future. I'm not worried about it. Like I wouldn't hate for him just to go play a couple games with the Eagles. I
think he probably will at some point.
Just like he's going to get sent down during the break. I don't think Brindley's getting a break.
I think Brindley's get a break. Oh, are you talking about Brindley? I'm sorry. I heard O'Connor. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah. I think Brindley's going to get sent down.
Yeah.
And he's going to play.
I think the Eagles, they get a break too, don't they?
Yeah. When's their All-Star week? I guess that's really the question.
Because I know they have a giant gap in their home schedule because, tough to go to a home game if there's no breaks. That's at least what I noticed. I haven't looked at their schedule proper in a minute, but I don't think that they are playing over that stretch.
The break for them is February 10th and 11th is the All-Star game.
So are they just not home again for that entire time?
Yeah. So that's kind of what's showing. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah. So they're home against the Wolves on the 7th. They're not playing again until the 14th. So they have a week off. Okay. And then the 20th, they are back, and the Avs are back on the 25th. So it's not that big of a gap, but you might see Brindley get maybe a game or two, again on the road in Chicago against the Wolves, which I wouldn't be shocked by. But
no, I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. It's a horrible thing.
No, I mean, we saw what it did for Bardakov. Bardakov went down there, scored a goal in the game he played, and he came right back up, and he was fine. Yeah. Like, it's just go give him a little confidence boost, give him some ice time, because he's playing – what did he play, like 6 minutes tonight? I don't think he played that much.
Yeah, he really didn't play a ton in this game. And he hasn't played a ton over the last little bit as well. Yeah. I think it's pretty clear that they are looking for upgrades on the wing right now. He played 8:47 in this game. Like he got 3 more shifts than Zakhar Bardakov and Taylor McCarr. So he's on a different tier than those guys in the Bednar trust level. But I think once you get to the playoffs, like unless people are hurt, he's probably not playing.
Right. And it's just, again, it's not a bad thing. I still love what he's brought to the team and what he's going to do, but you need to add some wingers. You need to add another center. But the Logan O'Connor thing adds a big thing because it adds just another need. Like you're actually going to be trading for a need instead of a want at that point.
Right.
And that tends to be a little bit more costly.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the center market is pretty barren at this point. Like I imagine it's going to look a lot like 2022. Where it's going to probably be a little bit of everything.
It's going to be a little bit of everything, and it'll be guys we have no idea who it's going to be.
Like it's going to be your Lekkonens and your Sturms and your Mansons and your Coglianos of the world. Like I do think that they're going to make a lot of moves. We could see a couple soon with the Olympic trade freeze coming up where they're not going to be able to make any moves for probably about 2 to 3 weeks at that point. You're probably going to see the Panarin trade come through before the Olympic break is the rumor. Sounds like the Avs are out on that without being able to give an extension because you have to remember Panarin full no trade clause.
Yep.
Because he wants an extension, and if the Avs can't give him an extension, he's not going to approve a trade. So that takes them pretty much out of the conversation.
Which is a bummer because I was kind of talking myself into it, but again, not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. You never want to get the top prize. It rarely works where you get the top prize and you win the Stanley Cup.
Right. Because again, it reminded me a lot of Claude Giroux, where I think there were better fits out there, better uses of your assets. Where again, I'm talking myself really into Blake Coleman over the last little bit, kind of being that winger that would really fit the Avs system a lot like Arturi Lehkonen did in 2022.
And he's just kind of a rat too.
Yeah.
Like he's just kind of
go back to when Tampa was winning. Like, cause I remember like the Blake Coleman prime when he was in New Jersey, he was like a shorthanded penalty killing monster. And he goes to Tampa and he is a monster in their back-to-back cups. And he's kind of gone to Calgary and his luster has faded away on being kind of on a fringe playoff to lottery team. But he's still a very good player that I think would be a very interesting addition to this team.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I've talked myself into him. And again, it's still just so weird because there are still a lot of teams alive. Like we really know the Rangers are selling, the Flames are selling, the Canucks are selling. What else? Like, who else is selling?
Yeah, I mean, like, because you can't even really classify, like, is Winnipeg out? They're probably out at this point. They probably should be selling. Nashville, Barry Trotz just announced he's retiring. I don't know how much they're going to go all in this year.
What a mess he created.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, they're still kind of sitting middle of the pack. They should be selling. Does that open the door for Ryan O'Reilly? But I feel like that's the last, because New Jersey, I don't think is selling because they're not really out of it in the Metro. Chicago might be light sellers. I think Toronto is probably selling at this point with just how bad they've been over the last little bit. So you could look at a Nick Waugh, a Bobby McMahon options from Toronto.
I like Bobby McMahon a lot. Nick Waugh is awesome too.
Yeah, like those would be fun ones. But to your point, like not a ton of huge sellers in the market this year because just for example, to use Washington, where they were looking like they were creeping into the sellers category a little bit. Now they've won 3 in a row, and now they're back up to 63 points, and now they're right back in the playoff race. They're not going to consider really selling. Like they might have Panarin this time tomorrow.
Yep. And they're 2 points back of the Islanders?
Yeah, they're 2 points back of the Islanders, who they just beat in regulation, for that to be a huge win and to move ahead of the Flyers. And I mean, look at Columbus. Have you realized what was going on in Columbus?
They're fighting, man. That coaching change.
Dude, they're 9-1-0 in their last 10. They won 5 in a row. They got 61 points.
They're in it. Like, it's just really the Rangers are out of it. I don't think the Devils are completely out of it.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the Devils, they have 28 wins. So does Pittsburgh has 28 wins. They have more wins than a lot of playoff teams right now.
I'm like, are we worried about Florida?
Sam Bennett just got hurt. I think I've officially entered sweating.
Yeah.
Whereas it's getting a little tight.
Yeah, they're 7 points back of the wild card, 9 points back, 11 points back from third in the Atlantic. I'm sweating. I'm sweating.
You're sweating a little bit.
Like, you won 2 cups. So if you have a 1 down year and you come back healthy the next year, it wouldn't be the worst thing for the Panthers.
Yeah. Because it is also funny to look at the East wildcard picture of like, well, if Florida gets in, there's a good team that's getting kicked out here in the Atlantic Division, because your wild cards are Montreal and Boston right now. Like,
based on point percentage?
Yeah, based on points percentage. I only really ever look at points percentage when I talk about this stuff. But like Buffalo, still winning. Boston, good record over the last little bit. Detroit, as we see, they've hit it. They're 5-3-2 in the last 10. They're still there for the most part. Like, it's going to be really tough for them to unseat one of these teams. Like, they're behind Toronto, I think. Like, they're last in the Atlantic.
Who has their first this year? Is it Calgary?
I feel like Calgary is everyone's first.
Yeah.
Chicago does.
Good for Chicago. Not really, because it kind of fucks us. But, yeah, I mean, like, the East is just very interesting. Like, are the Penguins just good?
They might be. They might be. I mean, I think this year more than ever, I'm seeing a lot of motion on we got to get rid of the loser point. Because you look at some of these standings, and it's a little ridiculous how some of these teams are. Like, Vegas is a great example of it. You look at the Atlantic right now. Vegas is in first place with 64 points. You sort that by wins, they're in 5th.
Yeah.
Like that's a little ridiculous at that point. Anaheim would be in first with 29, Edmonton second, 28, San Jose 27. You'd have Seattle ahead of them at 26. Yet you sort by points. Anaheim's down to fourth. Vegas has won or gotten 14 loser points so far. They've lost 30 games. They've lost more games than they've won. They're 25-30.
Yep.
Yet they're in first place in the Pacific right now, which is crazy. Like, it is a crazy point system you have in place that we've just kind of accepted.
Yeah. I just love that the Avs have 33 regulation wins.
I was quote tweeting like some of the what the standings would look like with different point systems. Yeah. The Avs are in first in every single one. So it does not really affect us, but it really does affect teams like the Kings and the Knights.
Yep.
You sort a lot of these divisions by wins, where the Devils would get a nice boost. You get teams like Anaheim that would get a nice boost, because like you have Vegas and LA at 14 overtime losses apiece, 25 and 23 wins for them. Vegas or LA has only won one more game than Calgary.
It's awesome.
That's awesome. Like, that is ridiculous.
Sick league we got going on here.
Yeah,
sick league.
Sick league that we've got going on here.
Well, did Minnesota win in overtime tonight?
I think they did. Yes.
Yeah. So they only have 21 regulation wins.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They have 33 wins. 21 of them are in regulation. For context, the Avs have 36 wins. 33 of them are in regulation.
Yeah.
Which is also an indictment on how bad they are in overtime.
Yes.
Because the Devils are in a very similar spot with the Wild, where they win games. They don't have a lot of loser points, but they've won 18 games in regulation. They have 28 wins, 10 wins in overtime.
They're elite. They're elite in overtime.
They're elite in overtime.
Well, like, that's the thing too. If you're an Avs fan, just think about it that way. Like, you could be a Devils fan or a Rangers fan, where you thought your window was open.
Be a fan of literally like any of these bum franchises that don't do anything. At least we have a shot.
Yeah, we're gonna have a shot. They are gonna add the trade deadline, and we just gotta get through Wednesday. Just get through Wednesday against the Sharks. And
here's a question I got for you, and I need you to answer me honestly without any bits. We have tickets to this game on Wednesday against the Sharks. Do you really want to go to that game? I mean that genuinely. Do we want to drive an hour each way to go watch this hockey game?
Well, it's an hour for you. Not as far for me, because I'm just going to go straight from work. I am like 65% sure I want to go.
Yeah.
And it'll go up more as we get closer to the game. But I do want to see Macklin Celebrini play. That is true. I want to see Celebrini play, and I do think the Avs are going to kick the shit out of him. So that is a positive. Because what did they lose to Chicago tonight? It was like 6-3 in the third period.
I lost track of that game after a little bit. I can get that here.
Yeah, it wasn't close.
It ended up being 6-3. I mean, it's not terrible, but the Sharks also might be doing that too. They can afford to do that a lot less than the Avs can. They'll be coming in on a 3-game losing streak. Lost to Edmonton in overtime, lost to Calgary and Chicago in regulation on the road, and they're going to wrap up this road trip here. This might be a horrible game. Like, this might be a genuinely terrible hockey game.
6 goals on 17 shots isn't good.
Ooh, I wasn't even looking at the box score. I was just looking at the score.
Talk about a game. Could you imagine watching the first period between those teams? The teams combined for 5 shots.
Ooh. Are you sure you want to go to this game?
Askarov gave up 6 goals correction, 4 goals on 10 shots.
Oh my God. Yeah. This game could go so mad. This could be like the worst 7-5 game you've ever seen. This could be a 2-1, 15 shots apiece shootout nonsense.
Celebrini had 2 points in the game, so that's good for my fantasy team.
Great for my fantasy team too. The real one that you don't participate in, but
I was on a boat
for the whole year.
Yeah, I've been on a boat the entire time.
Yeah, you have been on a boat. You're in last place all by yourself. You're on an island.
Hey, it's where I like to be, man. It's where I like to be. But for that game, I just really think the Avs they're going to try and build some momentum in this game.
Yeah,
I do. I think they're going to. I think they're going to play a much more like McKinnon's going to come out, and I think he's going to be like, I want to get off on a good foot. I think he scores. I think Makar scores. I think they win like 5-1.
I just think this is probably a 4-2 game with an empty netter. I think it's a close game, probably throughout. I agree. I think McKinnon, Makar, I think Parker Kelly still just
Parker Kelly, and I think Marty H is coming back is going to be big. Like you
is he playing in this game?
It sounds like he was going to.
I feel like at this point you just don't, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think you ask Marty what he wants to do.
Yeah, like I think it's probably up to him. Again, we don't know how severe the injury is. It doesn't sound like it's anything serious, but it might just.
He skated today. I think he's skating tomorrow too.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess maybe he could play. That would make a big difference. But I think McKinnon, Makar, Kelly, and Val score in this game. I think Val's due for another one.
Val's due, and talk about a player who's been good. Ross Colton is all of a sudden just a great goal scorer again. Yeah. So 2 goals in his past 4 games. And that's just great for Ross Colton.
Yeah. Also, Mackenzie Blackwood, great back-to-back games here against Detroit. He gets the shutout in Detroit. He only gives up 1 goal in this game. It was on the first shot, but he shut them out the rest of the way. In 120 minutes against the Red Wings, he only gave up 1 goal.
Yep. And I did see a lot of people like, it is weird because you're of that age too. Like I remember vaguely this Detroit Colorado. Well, you weren't alive for.
I thought you were going the direction of I'm old. Sorry.
No. You weren't alive for the heyday of this rivalry, and I know people want it back, and they were talking about it on the broadcast. Once Detroit went to the Eastern Conference, it killed the rivalry.
It's impossible. It is impossible to maintain a hockey rivalry on 2 games a year.
It's impossible, but also it is just like when you think about it, how is Detroit, which is like one of the most eastern cities in Michigan, on the West? Like,
right. Why were they
ever in the Western Conference to begin with?
Right. Why were they ever in the West?
Yeah, it makes 0 sense. And I'm sure the Red Wings lobbied for it for a very long time to get moved to the East because that must have sucked. Like being a fan of that team and just like it must have sucked. And it just it killed the rivalry. And it didn't help that there was the Red Wings continued to be good through the 90s and the early 2000s, and the Avs kind of fell off. And now the Avs are back up, and the Red Wings are climbing back up, but the Red Wings have been asked since, 2017?
I mean, this is the first time they've won in Ball Arena since 2015.
Yeah.
And I think the first time in 9 tries they won in regulation against the Avs. Like, it really hasn't been a rivalry, quote unquote. It's been a celebration of the past.
Yeah, and it sucks. Don't get me wrong. Like it's the greatest. It was the greatest rivalry in hockey, but I do think that the Stars are getting to that point where it's going to be the Red Wings. Like that's going to be the big rivalry. It won't be as physical. There won't be as many fights, just because that's not how hockey is, man. Like, this is not.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Goalie fights are on the rise.
Yeah, they're on the rise, and if you want that rivalry back, I hate to break to you, it's not coming back. It's just not going to.
It's a different game. It's a different era.
It's a different era. And if they were to match up in like the Stanley Cup final, I think it would bring back a lot of the animosity to it.
Even then, it wouldn't reach that height, even in the Stanley Cup final, but it would bring like that extra edge to that series, I would think. But it's Stanley Cup final. You're going to get that with everyone.
You're going to get that edge. And here's the thing, too. The Red Wings are going to be a playoff team. I'm going to tell you this right now, and I could get flamed for it. I don't think they're that good. I just like they're a perfectly fine team.
I mean, at some point, you got to get into the playoffs, even if you're not as good as your results, right? Like they have good players, like they have a good enough team that a season like this is a possibility. Like it is hard to miss the playoffs that many years in a row because sometimes you just have years like this where it's just kind of clicking, even if it doesn't really make any sense on paper. Sometimes it just happens, and you've been 9 years, 10 years at this point for them. So they were due for it at some point, but I agree. Like if they match up with a Tampa in the playoffs, they're going to get mollywopped.
They're going to get smoked, but it will be nice. Like Detroit is an Original Six franchise. The league is better when Detroit is good. Yeah. I just don't think they're even close to a Stanley Cup contender. Like they just aren't even close. Like they got smoked by the Avs, who are the Stanley Cup contender. And then they didn't get lucky in this game, but the Avs just didn't have it. Like it's just like that's just hockey sometimes. I don't think they're very good. They're not in the class of the East, and really the East is kind of shaping up. Is it just Tampa and Carolina? Are they really just kind of the class of the East?
Yeah.
Like
because if Florida's not going to make it,
if Florida's not going to make it,
I will say a potential Detroit Buffalo first round matchup.
Oh, I would feed generations, man.
At the two longest playoff droughts in the first round, and one of them has to win. Like that's great. That's great theater right there.
It would be
that series 2 years ago.
Oh, I want it so bad. I want Buffalo more than Detroit. That's just because
100%.
Yeah, we're Buffalo guys. But my God, like I just it's better when those teams are good. It is. It's more intriguing.
Looking at the East playoff picture versus the West playoff picture is so fun because in the West, you got the Avs and the Ducks right now, which like okay, I could have seen that before the season that the Ducks have a pretty good year to make the playoffs. Dallas, Minnesota feels pretty on the nose, right? You got Vegas and LA. Yeah, I would kind of expect that. Edmonton and Seattle right now, points percentage wise, is a little surprising.
How does Edmonton just luck into this every year, man?
I don't fucking know. Like this is ridiculous that they're going to get Seattle in round one. Like if they don't win the division again, which they haven't done for like 100 years at this point, and still get cupcakes in round one, that is just ridiculous. But like Seattle's a little bit of a surprise. I don't think they're going to hold it, but they're a little bit. And then the East, like you get Carolina, Montreal. Okay, I feel like you could have seen that one coming.
Yeah, that's a fun matchup.
Pittsburgh Islanders.
Gross.
But also could be great. Like
could be great.
The way they've played this year, like could be actually kind of a fun series, but one of those teams is going to move on to the second round.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about coming in this year. Tampa, Boston?
That'd be fun just based off that game last night.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that in a second once we finish this point. And then you finish that with Detroit, Buffalo.
That rocks.
That rocks. Like those are teams that I would have been shocked if one of them made it.
Yeah. It's fun. Like the East is going to be fun, but I do think it's Carolina and Tampa.
I really do think it's Tampa. I don't know what it is about Carolina, but they just haven't really impressed me. I guess like they're on a big point streak right now, but I also did just watch them blow a 3-0 lead to Washington.
Are they not just the exact same team they've been the past 5 years?
I think that's it exactly. It's just the same team.
Yep.
Like I just got nothing new to sink my teeth into with this team. I guess Nick Ehlers has been Nick Ehlers. He's been fine. Like they a couple of changing, moving parts every year, but it's the Hurricanes. I feel like I've seen this Hurricanes team for 4 years in a row. So maybe they're perfectly fine in a Stanley Cup contender. I'm just not interested because it's the same team.
Well, here's the thing. They may not have to face Florida. So maybe that's like we can say they're the same team, but they don't have to face Florida.
You think about it. Maybe they get Montreal round one. They're playing the winner of Pittsburgh, New York Islanders in round two. I mean, Tampa is tough. I don't think they beat Tampa, but I feel like they have a better shot than they've had in years past. So maybe they're the Hurricanes. Like in the NHL, you just have to be in it.
Yep.
It is perfectly okay to be a team like the Hurricanes, to be a Stanley Cup contender every year, because every year the league's wide open.
Yeah.
You don't know.
The East is even more wide open because the big bad bullies, the Florida Panthers, who just own everyone, they're banged up. Like it's not looking good for them to make the playoffs. So the East is wide open, but I feel the most confident about Tampa Bay.
Yeah. But for Carolina, it's like you look at the Avs, like maybe Dallas just does have their number and they just get knocked out early and they don't have to face them. And maybe they play Vegas in the final. Carolina could beat Vegas in a 7-game series.
100%.
You don't know what's going to happen. You just have to be good. You just have to make the playoffs, and you have to have a deep team, which is what Carolina has.
Yep.
It just has to click for 2 months, and then you can win.
Yep. That's all it takes. But yeah, well, the standings, we're going to do a lot more standing talks during the Olympic break as we talk about the Olympics too.
I feel like now is the first time it's like really okay to be like, okay,
yes,
here's how the standings are really shaking out. Here's who the Avs could feasibly play in round one.
Correct. But I did want to talk about that Stadium Series game we got last night between Tampa and Boston. Arguably the best outdoor game we've seen in the past 10 years.
It's up there for best ever.
Yeah.
Like
was awesome.
you could make the case it is the best outdoor game ever. I think it is so far the best game that's happened this year. I think it'll probably go down as the most memorable from the regular season because you look at it, Boston's up 5-1. Look, it looks like it is a shellacking. Like it is going to be a blowout. Tampa gets one back. Now you get a goalie fight at 5-2 in an outdoor game between Vasilevsky and Swayman, and the entire game just catches on fire from there. 5-4 before the end of the second period. Tampa ties it. You get to that overtime. The Bruins think they win. Here was the most baffling part. The ref had his hand up in the air and forgot to blow the whistle.
Yeah, I saw that.
You could see in the background, he's like, oh, shit, and blows it when they're halfway up the ice and can't hear it anymore. The Bruins score, and they're just like, nope, David, you're going to the box, buddy. But Tampa doesn't score on it. And they continue to go. They continue to go. Tampa's getting close. They get another power play. They get a Kucherov breakaway before that he can't score on. They get another power play. And then the greatest ending of all time, shootout.
Could you imagine how much we would be freaking out if we were Avs fans and the Avs got called for 7 straight penalties? We would come on here and fucking burn down it.
You would see holes in the wall behind me, things ripped off the wall if that happened to the Avs.
7 straight penalties called on you is insane.
7 straight. Like they had 8 minutes of 5-on-3 or something. Like it was ridiculous.
Like it was a great game. Like it was fun to watch. But if you're a Bruins fan, you're going, "What the fuck was that, man?" Like we got jobbed.
What the fuck just happened?
Yeah, like you got jobbed. You got jobbed. Like, and I don't like to sympathize with Boston fans because fuck Boston. But it's kind of where like I felt kind of bad for the Bruins. And you had McAvoy coming on after, and he goes, "Yeah, we got robbed. Like 7 straight."
The game changed when they had 8 straight minutes of 5-on-3.
Yeah, like, it's insane. That was an insane game, and just from pure entertainment. It probably is up there with the Penguins and Sabres game.
Yeah.
The first ever outdoor game. It's probably up there. I'm thinking of a couple other good ones like the Caps and Blackhawks. When was that where they played?
That was 2015. That was a fine game.
That was a fun game.
It had the memorable ending, which is what sticks out for a lot of it. I think that Penguins Flyers game from a couple of years ago with that late comeback from Philly's probably up there. I'm trying to think of some of these off the top of my head.
The Philly and Rangers game where Lundqvist makes the save on the not shoot out of Tampa penalty shot. That was memorable.
Yeah, that one's a good one. But the thing that stuck out to me the most about this game is classic games. You're going to talk about this game for years, start to finish, the goalie fight, the penalties, the overturned goal, the save on the breakaway. How did the game end? Shootout.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just going to have to kind of brush over that part of it every single time. Oh, remember that great game, that amazing, memorable overtime that we went back and forth in, and you kind of drew an audience in a little bit because the goalie fight went viral before the game was over, so you had people tuning in, and it just ends a shootout. Just the most meager, kills the game, stone dead shootout. And it's not like I'm the only person. If I was the only person, I would lock myself in an institution because I feel like I'm losing my mind every time I see this. But I feel like people are kind of on my side at this point, that is an insane way to end that game. Mm-hmm. How does that not get a proper ending? We're just like, it's taking too long. We're tired. We'll go home. Just wrap it up. Go home. Ridiculous.
I don't know. But also, like, I was sitting there and I'm watching like all the preparation they did for it where they put like that tarp on the ice. And I just sit there and I go, how the fuck was that not in place when we played at Lake Tahoe? I get it's in Tampa Bay. It's a little bit different. You're in the mountains in Tahoe, but it's like the sun is always going to be there. It's just always going to be there. Why aren't we doing this for every outdoor game? Like the sun is undefeated. The sun will always
seriously. Somehow Gary Bettman and his group of wizards put the game in Tampa the one time it's cold.
Yeah.
Like it was colder it was in the 40s in Tampa. They got snow like a day before the game for the first time since the 70s. They just somehow managed to pick the one time in Florida that it got cold in like 40 years.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude. Like I thought it's the best outdoor game in the past 5 years without a doubt.
Yeah,
without fail. Like the presentation was awesome. The whole
the real Winter Classic, like the Winter Classic felt like a total dud.
Yes. Yes, and that was more just because they didn't do shit with it. But like, yeah, and like this one was fun. Like the pirate theme was great. The players, the Lightning all showing up in Tampa Bay Buccaneers uniforms, like that was like the pageantry was there. That felt like a really fun outdoor game, and it kind of got me excited for the possibility with the Avs playing next year in the Winter Classic. Like, okay, the NHL can do this. Like they can have a really fun theme and they can really dig into it. It's just like the pirate theme was really fun. The thing with the Winter Classic, like just the whole Miami Vice, that sounds like a really good idea on paper. The execution just wasn't there for it.
Yeah. I will say, if Tampa didn't win that game, John Cooper would have looked like a total buffoon.
Total idiot. But I like it. Like, here's the thing with John Cooper. He's an interesting guy. He's going to be great in TV when he retires. He's going to be amazing. If we have to face him in the playoffs again, I'm just going to hate his fucking
I am going to find the rest of my hair and rip it out if I have to listen to another one of his press conferences in a Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, I'm going to kill Junior. I'm going to just be like, I fucking hate this guy again, because we're enough removed from him where it's like, yeah, John Cooper's a funny guy. Like, he's a good guy. He's funny. But Jesus Christ, like, if I have to listen and be like, well, I mean, the game really changed when the refs just gave him a goal on that penalty. I'm just like, God, shut the fuck up, dude. But right now he's fun. I like the outfit. I thought he was great. And we rag on the NHL a lot. That was a really fun game and a really good outdoor winter game. I enjoyed that immensely.
Yeah, it was a great time. Like the Winter Classic next year is like, if you haven't been to an outdoor game, it's really easy to complain about them. Yeah. I've been to two. They've been phenomenal.
They're awesome. It's an in-person experience.
Exactly. Like, it's an in-person experience. It's not even really for the game. No. Like the game is almost a sideshow in a way, where it's about the venue and it's about the game being outside and some of the pageantry and the views and everything. Like the game is important, obviously, because you want it to be a good game, but it gets kind of lost in the shuffle. And like it's hard to explain. You just kind of have to go to one. And like it kind of has to be one you care about, because if you're just going to one, it's not going to have the same appeal. So like this game in Utah next year for the Avs is, I just feel like it's going to be such a slam dunk.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
I'm like, it's going to be such a great time.
I'm really looking forward to it. And it was a really fun experience. And that's what the outdoor games should be. They should be fun. And it was a really, like I said, I loved what they had the rink around with, like the treasure map. That was awesome. Like that really worked. That worked. So I hope we get the same creative team that did this game does the Utah game.
Yeah, I would agree. And again, I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a great time for everyone involved. This game was great. It's a great note to end the outdoor games on. Because like you get a lot of these outdoor games, like they're just, you build them up and they're just not very good.
Yeah.
They're just kind of a dud. So it was good to see one that was not only a good game, could very well be the best game that happens this year. Yes. You get a goalie fight in there, which got two of them in the last month.
Yeah. Well, we need more goalie fights, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to be a goalie and be like, all right, I'm going to take myself out of the net and use my hands to punch this guy in the face.
Punch the guy in the face, but it worked. It worked. Like, that's you got some good shots in. Kudos to both of them. And kudos to the refs not trying to break it up.
Yeah. Right, just let it go. I feel like there's got to be a mandate being there. Like if the goalies are going at each other, just
let them go.
This is easy money for us. It brings eyes, and it's easy money.
Yep, it's the best. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm going to see you in like 48 hours. I'm very excited for that. And I don't know if I have anything else for this episode.
No,
I'm ready to go to bed. That's where I'm at.
Well, the mailbag is not. Unfortunately.
Oh, that's right. Let's do mailbags.
Quick mailbags here. We got our first one from Peter saying, cheers, fellas. And guess what? Sammy G scores the cup-winning goal for Colorado this year.
I wouldn't hate it.
I would hate a lot of things about that sentence, because number one, you're winning. Two, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, I love Sam Girard. Like we've always been kind of on the other side with Sam Girard. Like I feel like we've been pretty honest about his play, and like he just is what he is. And I like Sam Girard. I would love that if he scored the game-winning goal. That would just be – because more than likely he's still not going to re-sign here, but that would just be a good like little capper for him.
Yeah. Fair. They set up his trade value.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I'll throw an extra second-round pick in there.
Yeah, give it to me. Give it to me. But yeah, Peter, you're the man. We appreciate you.
Yep. Got our next one from Easton. See what happens when they put like a 50% effort in to win a game. I get the Olympics are coming up. A huge vacation is coming. It's hard to stay motivated, but it just really gets under my skin so easily. Anyway, fuck the Red Wings. Go Avs, go. This came in this morning, so.
Yeah, I'm sure Easton is going to be – he may have a question later on where he's just like, sorry, I said everything.
He was like, well, shit.
Yeah. Because I agree with you, Easton. It was great to see them actually try for a game, and then they just followed it up with.
I mean, if you think about this as one big game, the Avs won 5-2.
Correct, and I'm okay with that. That's how I'm going to look at it.
Yeah, it's just so weird that like going on the road worked for both teams for whatever reason. But regardless, let's get Christian to bed here. We got one more thing. We got one more from our boy Logan saying, "Greetings, as always, gentlemen. First off, an observation. Seeing the power play at home versus Detroit shows me where the flaw is. As I'm watching the power play, Avs do not shrink the ice nearly enough, and Makar always seems to meander back to the blue line, and that reopens the play, and that's where I see the flaw. They aren't forcing the play close in enough. I'm not an expert by any means, but that's what I'm seeing, and that's where I'm seeing clear fault that they do not squeeze the power play enough. What says you?"
I mean, I think you're exactly right. It is just – it's very predictable. There's no creativity. There's no movement. It's just – pass it around to McKinnon, pass it to Makar, and then maybe get it to Brock Nelson for a one-timer. That's just really what it is.
And it's a very easy film to watch. The other power play or penalty kill just has to be aggressive. And it takes away 95% of the Avs threat on the penalty kill. And they're just going to pass it around. They're going to keep it at the point. And just read that Makar pass across, and you're probably going to get a breakaway for yourself and maybe get yourself a little goal in there too. So it's just – the new structure looks a little better, but I think they still just need time to implement it and everything. And you got to just completely get away from what you've been doing entirely, because again, it's not good enough. It's completely useless. But he's got one more question. With this is, with the NHL trade deadline coming up behind the Olympic break, Jesus Christ, do you guys read the notes that I don't take before the episodes already? Is it time to make a decision on Logan O'Connor? Is he in or out? And should the Avs use his cap space? Tough decisions require tough decisions. Thank you, gentlemen. As always, I don't even take notes, so it's not like you could be reading what I'm putting into an episode.
Was that Logan?
That was still Logan. That was the same, all in the same question. But I didn't even plan on talking about that today. That was a genuine, split second. I'm pivoting to Logan O'Connor for some reason, and still it's being covered before the mailbag. I thought that was an interesting talking point that no one was going to have after this game.
Logan's on it, man. We got some very astute listeners.
Logan to Logan energy.
Yeah, we got Logan, we got Easton, we got Peter. R's been noticeably quiet. We need to hear from R here soon. We haven't heard from Katie in a minute. But I don't know. It's just, we talked about with Logan O'Connor. You're going to know here in the next month. You're going to know what their plan is. But if he's out, you're going to trade for someone, and it makes it more of a need than a want.
Yeah, I think they are going to trade for someone anyway, regardless of if LOC is relied on to come back or not, because I don't think they know. That's kind of what my speculation is. I don't think they have a very good idea of when he could be back. Because even if we go through March 7th and they haven't declared him out, they might just be leaving the door open because they're not really sure and they don't want to declare Logan O'Connor out. But you also have to ask the conversation. It's late. Holy shit. Wow. You have to have the conversation of, is it just kind of a wash for him? Is it worth it to bring him back at that point? If the Avs hypothetically are rolling into the playoffs and they don't need him, for lack of a better word, do you risk shortening his career and risk bringing him back injured and not getting Logan O'Connor really ever again at that point? I think that's a conversation you have to have of, if they are going at full speed and don't really need him, will they bring him back still?
It's a question. You're going to have to check it out. I don't know.
I don't think anyone knows. Everything we're saying here is just pure speculation based on the nothing that we've heard.
Correct. And that's the maddening part about Avs injuries. You just don't know.
Yeah.
So,
crazy.
Yeah, Logan, you're the man. Easton, you're the man. Peter, you're the man.
Appreciate all of the mailbags as always. Christian's been on a plane. pretty much all day. He is quite tired, as we can probably tell. So let us do the nice, reasonable, calm thing. Let Christian go to bed once I stop meandering and doing this monologue at the end of the episode here. But we are going to wrap this one up here. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. As always, if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow me at GR Youngs. You can follow Christian. It's my thing's mirrored, so every time I look at it, I do it. So I think it's this way. You can follow Christian at Christian_Belay, and you can follow the show at Hockey MTN Pod. But again, thank you all so very much for tuning in. We will catch you all next time. But until then,